I just met my goal, Kyle. I don't know which goal.
Oh yeah, I just got tapped. Benji just closed all 3 of his rings. That's how I can tell. If I don't know that Benji today, I actually knew that Benji was going to be at a Disney park. But if I don't know that, I sometimes learn because he closes his rings.
And sometimes I close my rings when I'm not at park just to mess with you.
You did it on a ship. I was a little impressed with that. You must have really made use of that non-fully looping loop.
I downloaded Marvel Move, which is now I exercise at home, which is the biggest now it's more of not that I'm in a park, it's that I remember to put on my watch.
Okay. Well, anyway, we're here to talk about something unrelated to that.
So we're here. Destination D23 officially gets underway tomorrow. They did the shopping opportunities as well as a look at the exhibit today.
Shop opportunities.
What's that?
Shop opportunities.
Shop opportunities. That's good. As well. Do you see the plush mountain?
Yes, I've seen the plush mountain several times.
Oh,
and it makes me. They're like, oh, isn't this cute? And you're like, no, it's sad because not only have you not had a plush mountain for several years, but you also don't even have a Disney store. Period. So you're making me angry.
I kind of thought it was like going to be their way of saying like Disney stores are coming back but I don't think that's what's happening. So there's some things we have to cover because we got a hard out today because I have a dinner that we'll probably talk about sometime after I have this dinner. But Disney asked me 2 questions. One was, what are the top 3 things you hope and expect to hear? Kind of, obviously not like something completely unreasonable, something you hope to hear. And what's the one thing you hope you don't hear? So kind of what are the 3 things you kind of expect and hope like you are going to hear from Josh tomorrow?
Beyond Big Thunder, Dinoland. Expect and hope are different things, but I would say my big hope, my swinging for the fences would be a Tomorrowland redo for both parks, but specifically Disneyland.
And what's the one thing you don't want to hear?
Updates on what we already know.
Yeah, my answer to that question was nothing. I want to not hear nothing. Like I will be upset if we get a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
And it's curious. So we were talking, and I feel like obviously international parks is a little bit of a wild card, but let's take them off the table. But at Disneyland, you're waiting for this environmental report for Disneyland Forward, which is really the green light to really do major stuff. So I don't think you can get as much detail. I could totally prove myself wrong in 24 hours or 12 hours, but like I don't expect to get like any major earth-shattering stuff for them, but I do hope after teasing Beyond Big Thunder and Dinoland that like it's going to be unfulfilled if they don't say that tomorrow.
Yeah.
And these things are a little weird where sometimes it's like, they don't mention the stuff that you expect to hear, like because it's too close or you don't hear it because it's too far out. So it's hard to say, but like what I don't want to hear is like the dates for the Epcot Festival of the Arts. Or, I want to hear them, but I don't want that to be like a big moment.
Or like, that the Shanghai and Hong Kong things that got announced this week are going to be brought up on stage. But
right.
if they left it at that, that's fine for those projects. We don't need more of those projects beyond that. But I'm saying like if they just talked about that for the full hour and didn't get to other stuff.
Gio is right about this, by the way.
Yes.
A movie screen showing like basically company clips. I will say D23 upped the giveaway bag this time. This is the sponsor's lug, and
big lug. Give them a lift.
I guess they're. It's not a Disney. It's a Mickey red, but it's not a Mickey. This is not a press gift. This is an everyone gift. So figured we go through what was in here.
I'm gonna solo you.
A Mickey and Friends trick or treat bag. Okay, cool. This came from Disney Visa. It's a Guardians of the Galaxy Groot litho. On the back it says, "We hope you are enjoying your weekend here at Destination D23. To show how honored we are to have you as a Disney Visa card member, here's an out-of-this-world gift to express our appreciation. This Groot lithograph is a reminder of the experiences we've shared and the adventures yet to come."
Can we actually see the thing? Can you pull it back?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Cover my face, I couldn't see. What's this? 4x4. Oh, so this is from collector's editions. These each Mickey is from a different artist. We have Brett Iwan, the voice of Mickey Mouse, Tim Rogerson, Michelle St. Laurent, and Dom Corona. This is Tim Rogerson. That's Michelle. Imagine that. So this must be Brett up here.
Makes sense.
And we got the schedule.
Oh, that's okay. We've seen it. Yeah. Oh wow, and a map too.
Yeah, it looks like the stuff that's on the website. So
yes,
good. What we got else in here? Some bookmarks, some copyright 2019 Little Mermaid stickers.
I feel like that probably goes to something that we haven't gotten to yet.
A Destination D23 patch.
That's cute. Very 90s colors.
Just marketing materials.
Okay. Anything else exciting?
This is a Hermes Express from
Percy Jackson
series. So kind of cool.
Coming to New York Comic Con as well.
Another Destination D23 patch. So I wonder if they just accidentally gave me two.
Well, there's two breast pockets on your front of your bag, so maybe you just they want you to double it up.
Marvel Stunt Squad. Disney Visa hat. Disney Rewards. Coffee.
A small coffee. Are they pods or?
No, it's just like it feels like what is this? It's like a filter. It's like a pre-filtered coffee, like pre-loaded coffee. What do we got here? This is from Citizen. Not sure if this is what it is.
I don't know.
What's a poster?
Hollywood Mickey.
A game, a non-Disney game from the Op called Tapple 10.
Okay.
Whatever. Scentsy, Dumbo Circus Parade, Scent Buddy.
Nice. Waiting for the Laurakonda. I was joking, but there you go.
A Destination D23. Not an ashtray, because that's like
no, not an ashtray. Just a little plate for your appetizers.
A Destination D23 pin.
Oswald.
Oh, an Ariel cookie recipe thing. This is from Disney Movie Club.
They make cookies under the sea.
I don't know what this is. Setting spray?
I don't know.
That's weird. And a Disney band. You can tell it's a Disney band because it's from Disney Cruise Line.
Yeah, I liked our tweet that was like, "Oh, first look at Disney band on land." I'm like, just a magic band with an anchor on it. But sure.
This is one of the weirdest things I've seen, but whatever. So yeah,
so I like that you got off a cruise and were immediately handed.
I know, like I thought, because I bought a Disney band like just to try it on the ship, and I was like, wait, that's not the that's.
Why did you buy a Disney band? Why didn't you just bring a magic band?
Because I wanted to see what the process was like with ordering it and what it came like. Curiosity, not
okay.
Need. Charlotte Tilbury. This is probably a question for Becca, but I think they have some sort of Disney thing they're doing.
Yeah, they did. They have a collection, and they also did like a short for it that there's also behind the scenes for. So yeah, you could search that on our site, and you'll find something.
So that's everything that's in the gift bag. Do you want to pull up some of the images we already
Yeah, I do. Talk while I do that.
So yeah, so there's 3 shopping experiences. Mickey's at Glendale. There's Mickey's at Glendale. The Disney Studio Employee Store. I forget what the technical name was. And then the Ink and Paint Market, which that's where like a lot of operating participants, like the Lug folks, Citizen, Lionel Trains, all those folks were living. So they there was, and basically we were given wristbands, so we could go into. You had to make a reservation for a shopping time. You could go in, and then Rock'em Socks too was also there. But you could go in, make a and kind of shop once in each store, and then they'll be open to everybody without wristbands or drama starting tomorrow. And in fact, I think like D23 members could actually like buy shopping tickets. Like if you didn't get into D23 Expo, you could just go in to pay to go shop. I wouldn't recommend it, but there's that. So, and then they had an exhibit in it used to be called the Nutcracker Ballroom, but it's now the social, I think the Fantasia Ballroom. And that features a lot of like WDI and imaginary, like audio animatronic stuff, which is kind of cool.
This looks scarier than the finished version.
Yeah. Can you pull up the there should be another audio animatronic figure from the other side.
I'm sure it's somewhere in here.
Yeah. So it's funny because it's labeled as like this in the 80s, this figure came to Hollywood Studios, but they wouldn't say who it was. So like I presume it's the witch because it's they didn't have the licensing for the name.
Gotcha. I don't see that. Let me look again.
Okay.
I don't want to scroll and get people nauseous while they watch.
Hercules foil card.
Yep. Each booster does have a foil card.
They gave out so many Laurakonda cards on the member,
which is funny because they have. This is probably where all the supply went, is giveaways.
Right. Fire the Cannons. I have that. I have a lot of those cards. So if you want to trade with me, I have a lot of duplicates and a lot of cards I don't have. So
cool.
So what are you most like looking forward to? Is it the parks? I mean, I don't know what the studios could possibly say, but
yeah, the parks. I mean, I'm usually the parks. Like the studio things are kind of fun. Like my only frame of reference is D23 Expo. I've never been to Destination D23. From what I hear, it sounds like I would like it more because it's you don't have to worry about, from what my understanding, the long lines and stuff. Like the people that are there are going to everything, right? It's
right. Like, yeah. It's just a big ballroom. It's more like a regular conference, like a conference. Yeah.
Right. So like the D23 Expo, the studios panels were always kind of fun because they bring out celebrities and stuff. And sometimes that's cool. Sometimes it gets old. You're like, okay, wow, I saw this person on stage, however far away from me in a giant ballroom. And obviously that's not going to happen here. So the studios is kind of, it'll be interesting potentially, but yeah, it's all about parks.
It's also 90 minutes. So it's like, what do you do for 90 minutes?
You'll probably see some exclusive clips of stuff. I don't know what. I mean,
imagine they're going to show Once Upon a Studio because like that's their thing.
Yeah.
Did you notice that so we all presumed it was going to be attached to Wish, but this week they announced basically a qualifying run at the LCAP. So I think it's going to be on Disney Plus before, like probably for the anniversary itself, I guess.
I thought they said that it was going to be attached to Wish.
They did at one point, and then they kind of backed off from that messaging when like we heard them talk about it later. Like it will be released sometime. And so I think originally it was going to be attached to Wish, and then maybe, they want to have something for the actual October 16th. So that's my guess. I don't know that. We'll find out, I'm sure, over the weekend. But
what else from Destination D23? You got to go see. What did you think of Moana? I know you've done it before, but now you can talk about it freely, I think.
So yeah, it's cute. I mean, it's a play area. I think they wisely. What the messaging of like the scope of it is better now, or it's just kind of a thing that's open, like no big deal, right? Whereas when it was sort of touted as like the culmination of the Epcot transformation, that probably can't carry that kind of weight. But it's cute. I mean, it's glad it's there. It will be. It's one of those things, kind of like Toontown at Disneyland, or opening weekend. It's not built for that. It's not built for waiting in line to get in. It's more of a just a stroll through it thing. That once the crazy calms down, it'll be right where it wants to be. It does close for weather, as we learned, because like I walked through it, and then I was going to do a second kind of and a third lap just to kind of get more detailed pictures and everything. But nope, due to storms in the neighborhood, the attraction went down.
I guess that makes sense if there's lightning in the area.
Yeah, I mean, because there's a lot of water just everywhere. It's kind of like freeing that it's not as like controlled as like most Disney attractions are. I don't know how much that's going to stay, but like you can just you're basically walking through puddles at some point, and it's but yeah, I mean, for what it is, I like it. I just hope people understand it's not like a brand new. It's like area development. It's a glorified sort of exhibit, and that's what you should go into it thinking of it as.
So we've been talking about the East Coast, but I do want to real quick, since this is our afternoon edition of our Disney morning show, go over to the West Coast, because they announced this morning that Hera Syndulla will be coming. She's there now. Unfortunately, we didn't know about it, but my biggest question with this is, in the TikTok and in the Instagram or whatever they put out, she has Chopper there. So I don't know if Chopper's part of this, or just they only said her.
Yeah, that's my question too, because like I saw her, and then I didn't see the picture. I was busy running around, and now I see Chopper, and I'm like, oh, if I can meet Chopper, that changes everything. I mean, no disrespect to Hera, but.
So yeah, she's there for a limited time starting today at Disneyland Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. We don't know about Florida. Probably not.
She won't be in Florida.
I know. I just have to say that I don't know, because we don't know. But yeah, so that was some pretty cool, I'd say fairly surprising news this morning.
Yeah, surprising because it was just on a random Friday. I mean, not in a bad way.
It's not even lined up with the release date of the show.
Right.
Anything else you wanted to talk about from actually, overriding you, we have an official opening date for, as we were saying, like some of the stuff they're announcing before Josh's presentation tomorrow. I think they already knew it opened in November, but now we know it opens November 20th. So big news there. Worlds of Frozen.
I mean, it helps to know the actual date as opposed to a month.
Yeah. Of course, even more than grand opening dates, you like to know soft opening dates, but
right. Well, what's interesting to me is it's like the Frozen Castle looks like Hong Kong Disneyland's old castle, not the North Mountain one, like the Arendelle one.
No, this looks cool though. I like it. Actually reminds me a little bit of New Asgard.
Yeah, it does, because it's kind of modern yet classic.
Yeah, so I like this. I guess that's probably like the most exciting part, more than like learning the opening date, is I think this image is nice and sells me on the idea of beyond the ride that you've done before in a different form and the actually new ride. There's also this pretty.
Is it a new ride? Is it, or is it? I mean, I guess you can't take ride system, but it's basically Mine Train, right? Like Mine Train with Frozen.
Well, that's a different theme. Like it's different than taking a flume and putting it in.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, but it's I mean, I guess it depends on how much they actually do.
Everything else is okay. Well, by that logic, then I almost said the abbreviation, but Aliens, Flying Saucers is just the same as.
Correct. Yeah, it is just Mater's Junkyard Jamboree,
but it's a new ride still.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, I mean, how many different spinners do we have?
And they're all just spinners, right? Like, well, they're all teacups. No matter what form they take, they're teacups. They could be honeypots, but they're teacups. I think Galaxy's Edge, didn't they already bring Mando out? So
yeah, that was my theory too. That same as Geo, but then once they brought Mando out and didn't even like, I was like, oh, are they gonna like bring him out on non-port days? And they did whenever. So I think they're over that if that was ever a thing. So yeah, couldn't tell you exactly what the.
Do you think we're gonna get anything that is beyond like just what I'm trying to say, like not Star Cruiser, but something like that, something that's just a new type of experience, or do you think we're just gonna get park stuff?
I don't know. I really like Star Cruiser, but I don't know what else they could do in that. I mean, it'd be great to have an update on Star Cruiser. That would put that on my wish list too. Is yeah, we're gonna turn it into a hotel, or yeah, we're gonna let you tour it and do like a, even if it's like a deeply themed tour, like that could be a cool idea. As if we're taking tourists up to this. I guess it should probably still be a ship, but there's something you could do. There's some sort of day event, almost like an escape room, even like with the stuff downstairs. You could do like an escape room stuff,
like an upcharge experience. But
yeah. I also want to briefly talk about this just because it makes me laugh that they have these Miss Minutes donuts at Randy's Donuts, the famous Randy's Donuts that you see Tony Stark in Los Angeles. These are supposed to be Miss Minutes, but you'd be forgiven if you thought that it was a tiger or perhaps a basketball. But yeah, so cool.
Wow, that's something. Oh, can we talk about my biggest shock of the day?
Sure.
Who had another Diary of the Wimpy Kids on their bingo card?
Especially one called Cabin Fever, like the Eli Roth film.
I was like, because I thought they were, that was like when they were, let's just make whatever we can for Disney Plus, like fast, easy, cheap, right? And then next thing you know,
I think things were probably already in the works there.
Yeah, but that's and it's like Christmas themed, right?
Yeah. Also, we didn't do a show yesterday, so I feel compelled to mention that Tiana's palace is now open at Disneyland, and Tiana got yet another new costume. This is different than like the dress she wears, different than the flapper outfit that she has, different from the new one coming that'll tie in with the ride. I compared all sorts of photos to make sure this was new, and as far as I can tell, this is a new outfit for her. So congratulations to her. I also compared it to the what she's wearing in the Tiana's Palace, which obviously that Tiana's Palace looks a lot different than this. No. Still different than that, but always green. She's always wearing green.
Well, did you guys talk about perhaps the weirdest thing they did, where they announced a new nighttime show, but like barely?
We didn't do a show yesterday. This is the first show I've done.
Okay, yeah. So what was that?
Yeah, with no photo or anything. They did tease a while ago that obviously with Fantasmic down, they're bringing more entertainment. So this is kind of a thing like, hey, come and sit and watch this for a few minutes, but no real details. I don't even necessarily think that they mentioned a mischievous frog. They didn't really say Princess and the Frog, but it's obviously jazz and New Orleans themed and a frog. So
yeah, it was weird because it's like they didn't want to draw any attention to it, but they also felt the need to say it.
Yeah,
it was a bit odd.
That's coming on the 28th. It's called The Heartbeat of New Orleans. I think there's actually a subtitle too, but I forgot what that is. And then Adventureland Treehouse is supposed to open in the fall, which I mean, kind of had to figure that there's only two options left for this year.
Well, but too, because it's like technically, and they use the technical fall. It's not, what I would say like there's a word for it, but like what most people would consider fall. No, they have till December 20th. It's a pretty safe bet if you say it's going to be 2023 that it's going to be in fall at this point. Yes, it's not
it'll probably be
21 day.
Fiscal 24.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's not, when people were like opening season, I was like, didn't we just presume that it was going to be fall 2023?
Yeah.
I mean, unless it got delayed, but I guess it seems like it didn't. Although they kept taking down and putting up that scaffolding, so I don't know what's going on there. I mean, it seemed that this project has taken a lot longer than they originally, or at least I don't know what they envisioned, but at least longer than I would have envisioned it. I mean, I just remember Tarzan's Treehouse happening pretty quick, and this did not happen quick.
Yeah. Maybe they'll turn it into a Bath and Body Works.
They still have those? No, it's Bed Bath & Beyond that one.
Yes. Doobie would be very disappointed if Bath and Body Works disappeared. He went to there today. He went to the Mall of America.
Oh,
and shared a photo from the Bath and Body Works there.
interesting. I feel like I don't get to watch your show every day. I feel like I miss out on a lot of weird things about doing.
I watch our show, and I didn't even know we weren't doing a show today or yesterday until Wednesday. So,
well, speaking of shows, we are going to try and go live around 9:30 Pacific tomorrow to go through whatever Josh said. So
who's we?
Laughing Place.
Okay.
people to be determined, but
okay.
We hope to, we either be happy, disappointed, or we'll be, that's what we expected. So.
Also, of course, we've got people there. We'll be live tweeting. We'll be posting. So follow us at laughing_place on X and on Instagram, because we'll Instagram stuff too. So anything else you want to say from Destination D23 before we punch out?
No, I think it's this calm before the storm. I mean, I'm curious to think, I don't know if anyone watching wants to comment, but what do you think the over-under is on people exceeding expectations, specifically the parks presentation, exceeding expectations or missing?
It's hard because I know Josh has told you personally many times they have lots of stuff that they're working on. But I don't know. There are things I can imagine that are causing them to not be able to announce those things. But I would hope that they would just go ahead and do it at some point. Obviously, it's hard because at D23, we've compiled a list of things that get announced that never come to fruition. So at the same time, it's I don't know if it embarrasses them or if we as fans just kind of roll our eyes at things that get announced and don't happen.
Well, that's the kind of thing, I almost think it's better to announce it, even if you're not 100%, because I don't think people get as upset when a project doesn't happen as much as they get upset when you don't have any projects to talk about. If you say, hey, we're canceling this, but, we have this, this, and this that we decided to build, I think that's okay. I don't think anyone's missing that town square theater or that, even the play pavilion. These aren't things that...
Well, I would like it if they brought back not even necessarily the specific Spaceship Earth refurb that they announced. That one seems fine, but it needs something because that Descent sucks. So
yeah,
I think anything they do is going to be better. So I do hope that comes back on the table. I don't care about the pop-ins thing. From what it seems like, the ride was never going to be very exciting, but the area could be nice. So again, don't really care about that either. But of all the projects that were announced and then canceled in the past few years, I think the Spaceship Earth one's the one I'd most like to see get greenlit again.
Because sometimes when these projects get canceled, they get whatever actually ends up happening is so much better than what would have been there originally.
Yeah, like DCA would instead of Westcott.
Yeah, well, okay, not that. Maybe not that example, but even not that I didn't want Beast of Kingdom, but Avatar's been sort of a step. Galaxy's Edge is much nicer than the Roger Rabbit area, I think would have been. Who knows what would have happened, but I think when they're able to actually when it's one of these peripheral hey, let's do it, let's not do it, kind of thrown in projects like that Mary Poppins was. When they actually have time to focus on it and make it the thing, it's oftentimes a lot better. Not always, it's not a rule, but I think it's a generalization. It's sometimes I don't get too upset when they cancel something because I would almost bet whatever happens to where the play pavilion was going to be will be better than what the play pavilion was going to be.
Can I make a bold prediction?
Please do.
It's so bold that there's absolutely no way this is ever happening, but it would be amazing if they announced that they're turning back on the sorcerer's portals and you're going to be able to use Laurakonda cards.
That would be cool. I haven't been following. Has the Laurakonda thing become a whole mess of people just not being able to get cards?
I don't know if it's people. There's messes within it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the entire thing is a mess. But there is little fires everywhere, to steal the name of a Hulu show, where you give the exclusive to these hobby stores, but then the hobby stores are charging people double because they can. Right. And then you have a release on Shop Disney, and then it sells out somewhat in 5 minutes, but then stock keeps coming back throughout the day because Shop Disney sucks. So so it's not completely sold out, but then it sells out. And then I guess it's also sold really well so when we went to our Target, there was still some stuff left the Saturday after it was released, but then the next day we went back and it was already gone. So I think enough people have it to play the game, but I think people that want more and want to collect them might be frustrated.
Yeah.
And then there's also, by having a scarcity, it's creating a resale market that people are kind of rolling their eyes at.
When
but you don't need to do that. That's not going to be worth anything. They're going to reprint the stuff as they announced. So you think that would kind of flush that out.
But I think, like, when those resale markets come, then it just like makes everything worse, right? Because like then people buy it to resell it instead of, it creates this artificial demand that will disappear. Because especially since they announced they're reprinting it, like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem as necessary.
And this is the first chapter, so there's going to be other ones. So I think now the challenge, Ravensburger's already learned a lot from what's happened so far. Demand has been high, but I think from what I've heard, being at Gen Con, hearing other people talk about these TCGs, is the challenge is to be able to keep refreshing it by releasing new product, but not skew it so much that the only way that you're going to be able to play the game anymore is if you have these super powerful cards that are super expensive as well. So I've heard of other cards that got ruined that way.
I talked to them about that with when they were at Expo, right? Because they were handing out those cards, and they were basically just like foil versions or some special version of existing cards. Because like we want to make sure everyone can get every card, and that it doesn't become a thing where like in order to play against a guy who has a lot of cards that you have to because you can't have the powerful cards. And so at least I think it's on their radar. It's not completely like foreign to them, and so I'm optimistic about it just because they mentioned it to me. But yeah, because that's why I don't like playing these games, is like I don't have time or energy to like chase down cards, so I just don't lose every time. That's no fun.
Yeah, and I mean the foil versions are more for like collecting and enjoying. It's not like the foil version's more powerful, but you get and there's also a foil version of every card. So you get a foil in the booster packs, and
I don't mind like creating things that are special for like collectability as long as it doesn't affect gameplay, right?
Right. Which they do have, the super rare enchanted cards, but I honestly don't know enough to know how much more powerful. Like if you do get one of those super rare cards, are you like? I guess you're not automatically set to win because there's at least 60 cards in a deck. So you have
what's the enchanted cards do? Like what makes them different?
They're just the highest rarity. It's the one that they announced as Gen Con started, that there's these.
But are they like more powerful, or is it just like rare?
I don't know, they're actually not even in the app. Okay. When you look at the thing, they're not there. But I assume that they're more powerful, but I don't know enough of the mechanics to know how powerful, because I also didn't memorize what they do.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, that's our little Lorcana discussion.
No, I think it's interesting because I think there's a market here for Laurakonda that is not used to the CCG market, like Disney fans who it's a fun game. I played it like on the cruise that we were just on, and I was a little hesitant because like I'm with all these like hardcore like D&D people. I was like, I'm not gonna I just don't know but I ended up winning just because like it's not that complicated. Like it's more of just sort of luck and basic strategy. Like it's not a complete.
You were counting cards?
Yeah, not like hit on 11, but like it's not as complicated as like when I was a kid. I always felt Magic the Gathering was like more complicated. Now, obviously, I was a kid, so I like things more simple back then. But like I felt like I couldn't get it. But now this, I felt pretty confident that like I can understand it. It's more about luck and draw than like anything really crazy. So
and that's kind of what Ravensburger's been doing with Villainous too. Like they have the regular Villainous, and they came out with that Introduction to Evil thing, which is like kind of a retread because it's got some of the same villains, but it's supposed to be more streamlined and the designer of that game told me like the whole point of that was, so we already got gamers who are also Disney fans. Now we're going after Disney fans who are willing to become gamers. So.
Right. Yeah, that's a good strategy. I think the Ravensburger people are pretty smart when it comes to like getting the market. So
yeah. Well,
anyway,
thanks so much for chatting about everything, including D23. So yeah, stay tuned tomorrow and all weekend. Bye.
Bye.